Every cricket fan remembers exactly where they were when Guptill was run out to draw up close to arguably the greatest final of any sporting event ever.
Absolute ecstasy for England! Agony! Agony for New Zealand!
That's right, today we'll take a look at the 2019 World Cup final.
You've got to feel for New Zealand. Look at them. You just cannot believe it, but England have deserved it.
World Cup champions for the first time, England!
Throughout history, there have been many exciting games of cricket. The most recent example was the 2023 World Cup, where Australia defied all odds to win the World Cup against India at the Men in Blue's home ground.
100 for Travis Head on the biggest of stages!
Thanks to some brilliant captaincy from Cummins.
And Australia win the World Cup! Champions.
We can roll back the year all the way to Australia's first ever World Cup win against England in 1987, where they won by just 7 runs in an exciting run chase from England.
They take 2 and listen to the acclaim at Eden Gardens, Calcutta, and take your first World Cup. That is Australia's joy.
Icons David Boone, Steve Waugh, and Captain Alan Border cemented their legacy as legends. Who can forget Pakistan's historical victory against England in 1992 at the MCG, where the Three Lions simply had no answer for Wasim Akram's zippy swing bowling.
Subtract Lewis from that list, Wasim Akram is on a hat-trick.
The victory from these underdogs proved that anything was possible when it came to the World Cup.
Pakistan win the World Cup, a magnificent performance in front of 87,000 people. What a great victory.
But 2019, this final makes all of the rest pale in comparison.
Out! I'm sure he's out! We're going to a super over!
There was a brilliant display of captaincy like in 2023. The match was as close as it could get like in 1987. Most importantly, it showed that anything was possible like in 1921. This final had it all. But what made it so special? Well, let's take a deep dive into the match to see how one match changed cricket forever.
Can you believe this? I do not believe what I've just seen!
Before we talk about the final itself, we need to talk about the incredible teams that played this final. It wouldn't be much of a final without some worthy contenders for the trophy, and 2019 gave us exactly that with an exciting, explosive England side at home, and a strong, experienced New Zealand who just finished the last edition of the tournament as runners-up.
Away. That'll do it. Steve Smith fittingly hits the winning runs.
Champions of 2015, ladies and gentlemen, the Australians.
Surprisingly, neither team was the favorite leading up to the tournament. India and Australia entered the tournament with super teams. Australia won the 2015 edition, so it was pretty obvious that they would bring a strong squad.
The third one cannons into Ostap.
India featured a generational squad with Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, and Mohammad Shami all playing in one team. For the early stages of the tournament, it seemed that the predictions were correct, as both our finalists finished the group stage behind these two heavy hitters. That brings us to our next topic. What did the road to finals look like for each team? England had a lot of pressure on their shoulders. They had the home ground advantage and an amazing team. The team was full of batting talent in Jason Roy, Ben Stokes, Joe Root, and Jos Buttler. Along with that, they had a frightening bowling attack with Jofra Archer, Mark Wood, and Chris Wokes. As if that weren't enough, they were under the brilliant captaincy of Ewan Morgan. The Three Lions won the first match against South Africa comfortably thanks to a masterclass from Stokes with both ball and
Ben
bat.
Stokes with the run in the field, and Ben Stokes with the ball. A clinical and devastating win against South Africa.
The second match quickly made them realize it wasn't going to be an easy tournament, as they lost to Pakistan by 14 runs in a close run chase.
It's flicked away, it will go for 4, but they will not care one bit, Pakistan.
Even though both Root and Buttler scored centuries. In the third match, England annihilated Bangladesh with a 106 run win.
That's a terrific delivery.
And that is a way to finish the game. Another
was a classy batting display from Jason Roy that made this win so easy.
Goes again, into the crowd again, 6-6-6.
They followed it up with another comfortable 8-wicket victory against West Indies.
And he's able to achieve. So England win by 8 wickets.
This time, the batting charge was led by Root, who scored a splendid century.
And that will be 100.
100. That's his second 100 of this World Cup. It's so classy.
The team showed yet another dominant display against Afghanistan.
Oh dear. So since 1975, this is the biggest win in World Cups.
The captain, Ewan Morgan, stepped up with the fastest century in World Cup history and ended with 148 runs off just 71 balls to lead England to a massive win.
And that is a record for Ewan Morgan, the most amount of sixers and a strike rate of 211.
The sixth match would be another humbling experience as they would face a disappointing loss to Sri Lanka by 20 runs.
Oh, it's a nick, he's nicked it. What a win for Sri Lanka.
Lasith Malinga was unplayable on that with his super-fast deliveries and classic aggression.
Finger goes up, it's Butler, the key wicket.
They were defeated again in their next match by Australia, who beat them by 64 runs.
Again offside, this time to cover from Australia, are the first side through to the semis.
England had no answer for Aaron Finch's batting.
Finch gets another century.
England went back to winning ways and style by beating the mighty India convincingly by 31 runs.
That's a wicket. That's the wicket they wanted.
It's clipped away, and the unbeaten side in the World Cup have been beaten.
Johnny Bairstow was a standout with his elegant batting.
Now has he got hold of that? And a first World Cup 100 for Johnny Bairstow.
Bairstow stepped up again, this time against eventual finalists New Zealand.
The English fans go up.
Another 100 for Johnny Bairstow.
Leading his side to a massive 119-run victory.
First time since 1992 they are into a World Cup semi-final.
Finishing third to qualify for the semi-finals. In the semi-finals, England got some sweet revenge against Australia with an 8-wicket victory. The team displayed a dominant display in both bowling and batting.
Hit away over mid-on, that Captain Morgan is the man that leads his team for a World Cup final.
Jason Roy's reliable controlled batting,
That's up here in the commentary box.
Chris Woak's phenomenal bowling were just too much to handle for the baggy greens.
For much longer, what a beauty.
Much like England, New Zealand also brought a very strong team to this World Cup. The team featured batting maestros Martin Guptill and Ross Taylor. But their bigger strength was their unbelievable bowling lineup of Trent Boult, Matt Henry, Lockie Ferguson, and Tim Southey. To top it off, they were captained by the classy, calm, and collected Kane Williamson. Even with this strong team, qualification for the semi-finals was by no means a breeze. They only just made it past the group stage on run rate after ending with the same number of points as Pakistan. The first match showed no signs of a struggle. They earned a 10-wicket victory against Sri Lanka.
And a comfortable victory for New Zealand.
Matt Henry ran the show to limit the Lankans to just 136 runs.
Nick 10, a good catch. Martin Guptill.
Guptill finished comfortably with the bat.
Yep, there's the footwork, and there's the shot.
The second match was much closer. Bangladesh put in a strong effort, and the Kiwis had to manage with a narrow 2-wicket victory.
Santner goes through extra cover. Such ringcraft does Mitch Santner.
Ross Taylor and Matt Henry proved crucial to this match with their batting and bowling acumen.
Well gone. Henry has 2 in 2.
They were back to dominating in the third match as they totally outclassified Afghanistan with a comfortable 7-wicket victory.
New Zealand win. They make it 3 out of 3. Top of the table, a healthy net run rate as well.
All-rounder James Neesham at his best when he took 5 wickets on that night.
Another one, and 2 in the over, and Jimmy Neesham has a 5-wicket haul.
Unfortunately, they never got to play their group stage match against India, as it was abandoned due to rain. They would, however, face the men in blue soon, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. The draw, as followed by a 4-wicket win against a really strong side in South Africa.
Now just a single needed, and New Zealand go to victory.
Anchored by Williamson's smart century.
It is! Kane Williamson, under pressure, does the business. First World Cup 100, and what a time for it.
They had yet another close match with a relatively weaker team in West Indies, as they had to scrape by with a win of just 5 runs.
Down the ground, but Fielder underneath, and taken! The dream is diminished for Carlos Brathwaite. New Zealand win!
It was truly a battle of the batsmen, as Carlos Braithwaite
It's 100 for Carlos Braithwaite.
and Kane Williamson brought all they had to the table.
Back-to-back World Cup centuries for the New Zealand skipper.
After this match, things went downhill for the Kiwis. Pakistan picked up a 6-wicket victory against them,
Full toss into the gap, and Pakistan wins.
thanks to a brilliant century from Babar Azam.
Here we go. What a century from Babar Azam under pressure.
They then were outclassed by neighbours Australia with an 86-run loss.
What a catch. This should be out. Finally, game over.
Brilliant bowling from Mitchell Starc and amazing wicket-keeping from Alex Carey led the Baggy Greens to victory that night.
Well, straight at the stumps.
The aforementioned England loss really put them in a difficult position. Had Pakistan won or drawn just one more match, the entire story would be different. It didn't really matter. All that mattered was that they made it to the semis. They played a super exciting semi-final against India. Although they set a low total of 239,
Fielders coming underneath, it should be taken. Another wicket goes down.
239.
they defended it confidently with some great bowling from Bolt, Henry, and Santner. This meant that even with India's endless batting talent,
Another one, New Zealand all over India here.
the Black Hats defended their target and won by 18 runs.
He tries, he can't do it. There's a little touches there. It is, it's over. What a performance from New Zealand to defend.
The stage was set for the biggest clash between two teams who never won the tournament before, but always entered the tournament as potential victors. New Zealand won the toss and elected to bat first, and they put up an unimpressive total of 241.
Yeah, full and straight. Good, clever bowling.
The only notable performances were from Henry Nicholls, who scored a half-century,
That's a 50 for Henry Nicholls.
and Tom Latham, who scored 47 runs.
Chip to mid-off, gone.
Chris Wokes and Liam Plunkett took 3 wickets each.
I think there's a tickle there.
England did not have too much of a challenge, or so they thought. New Zealand put in a bowling masterclass.
It's carried through and Latham takes the catch.
The entire top order had collapsed under the pressure from Ferguson and Nisham, who both took 3 crucial wickets.
Chopped it on.
Had it not been for both Stokes and Butler weathering the storm, the team would not even get close to the total. Stokes was especially brilliant with his 84-run stint. Now, here's what makes this final special. England did not just get close to the total, they matched it exactly. This meant that for the first time ever, the final would end in a super over.
I'm sure he's out. We're going to a super over.
After 7 weeks, we are not done yet.
Both teams put on a brave face and sent their best batsman to face the most fearsome bowler of the opposition. Ewan Morgan sent his very best men, Butler and Stokes. They went in to face Bolt's terrifying pace. The pair scored an admirable 15 runs without a loss.
He gets it in a gap. He gets a boundary.
It was New Zealand's turn to make it count, and they sent Nisham and Guptill to take on the powerful Archer. They need just 16 runs to win it all. Nisham was at his A-game. He showed smart running and even hit a massive 6 in the 3rd ball of the over.
It's huge. It's gone.
By the 5th ball of the over, New Zealand had 14 runs. They needed 2 off 1 ball to win with Guptill on strike. Did the experienced Kiwi deliver? Unfortunately, England's strong fielding did not let them. Guptill hit into a gap and easily ran for 1, but smart fielding and lightning-quick hands from Butler stopped Guptill from making it past the crease to get that much-needed 2nd run
In English history.
Remember the name.
in the last ball. You must be wondering, the scores are level, what now? Well, painfully for New Zealand fans, in such a scenario, the team with the most boundaries wins, and England, being a team that relies more on heavy hitting, had 26 in comparison to New Zealand's 17. The Black Caps lost on the barest of margins.
By the barest of all margins.
What a way to end the game. Truly remarkable scenes.
Agony. Agony for New Zealand.
ICC World Cup champions for the first time, England!
Stokes won Man of the Match, and Williamson took home the Player of the Series award, but the overarching headline was, England had won the World Cup. There are 3 reasons why this is such an impactful final. 1. England's first win. England finished runner-up in 1979, 1987, and 1992, 3 times, the most by any team. England fans had certainly paid their dues, and the victory seemed like it would never come, but Ewan Morgan's brilliant captaincy helped them achieve the impossible.
Allah with us as well. I spoke to Adil, he said Allah was definitely with us.
2. New Zealand's endless heartbreak. New Zealand's lost back-to-back finals, and losing it after such a close match really did hurt the fans and players alike. However, it can be argued that this heartbreak is what pushed them to win the 2019 to 2021 ICC World Test Championship.
Williamson and his team are now World Test Champions.
3. An unforgettable match. Former England one-day bowler Stuart Broad called it best, the best white ball game of all time. And he may have been right. It was a super shocking and exciting match that reminded every team in the world how unpredictable the final really is. More importantly, this match got the new generation more excited about the gentleman's game. It reignited the passion for cricket around the world and gave the young fans a memory they would cherish forever.
I'm sure he's out! We're going to a super over!
There may never be a final like this ever again, and that's fine. Some things are beautiful because they only happen once. Cricket is a game of ups and downs, and England has suffered the downs, finishing runners-up thrice. This was a much-deserved reward for being consistent side throughout the ages. Things may seem bleak for the Black Caps after losing 2 finals on the bounce and getting knocked out in the semis by the hosts in the most recent one, but the Kiwi spirit never dies. This is a country with a strong sporting mentality and love for the game. We have no doubt that they will one day get their hands on this illustrious trophy.